Hey beauties, good evening to you. In watching the news today, and I hate to be saying it that way. I feel like it's now a part of my mantra using that line. It's becoming very cliche, but it's not. Minister Tufton, Dr. Tufton, has dissolved the UA Hospital's board. That he told them it is in their best interest to tender their resignation immediately. And that is very, very much concerning, my beautiful people. I don't know if I am the only one who, isn't concerned about that. I was very much surprised. I know that I heard a little birdie saying something that it came out, but it was kind of snatched away for a moment, I guess, so that they can look at it keenly and do their necessary modifications before it was rebroadcasted or brought back to the fore. But listening to the minister who was interviewed by someone, he said that the man, Mr. Chin or whatever his name is, he has done a good job, but it's just a part of it. He has to part ways because of some concerning matters and issues, and there has been some things brewing, and he thought it was in the best interest for the entire board to be dissolved and their resignations be tendered immediately. When you hear these things, beautiful people, this is not just a little walkover. I mean, someone was asking, and he said that he doesn't want to get into it. Fine, fair enough. You know, and you know how the Jamaican people are, sir. They're going to be speculating. Say it could be corruption, something went awry. I've noticed in recent times, but this has nothing, this is more of an offshoot. I know it would not be in relation per se, maybe, with the high rising, of late again with HIV infections. I don't know if it's HIV, AIDS, and all of that. Jamaicans, once they hear HIV, they like to say AIDS because, if it lingers without the proper treatment, it can, metamorphosize into AIDS. Forgive me, I'm one of them Jamaicans that wants me just say AIDS and call the one. It's like they're one and the same. I call them the two because one leads to the other. It's like, sort of a situation. And this is not an indictment on those who would have caught it unwittingly, unfortunately. I'm not talking about that. And when I say unfortunate, meaning they try to take some precaution, but things happened. It could be, you remember, say it's although when this thing came on the scene many many moons ago, it was dubbed as sexually transmitted disease, but it would be based on blood transfusion. So some people probably would have been, if they were given blood, they end up getting it. I've heard of cases like that, and so on. So that's what I mean when we're in cases where people catch it in that way. But when you're promiscuous, you have to be open to the possibility of catching the infection. And you have to also be open to the possibility of people not showing compassion when you're promiscuous, when you live alternative lifestyles. I don't need to get into that. You have to be open to that possibility of people not, you know, um, showing mercy and compassion, as I said, when you live very promiscuous lifestyles, alternative lifestyles. But when it's a case where it's not your own fault, But outside of that reality, and this, it's a cause for concern. But at the same time, I wish that same measuring stick that Minister Tufton used, where he said to them, tender their resignation immediately, that it was extended to some of the members of parliament on both the GLP and the PNP, that their resignation would tender and immediately they leave. Immediately they leave. We don't have to worry. I don't know how the whole algorithm goes. I use the word algorithm. In other words, I'm not sure what the due process is if a member of parliament should leave, whether they die, whether they resign, or they reach. I don't know. Do they have an age of retirement in politics, or they don't? I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. I really am not sure because I've seen cases where people go up at a very late age, so I don't know. I know that, generally they'll tell you that the retirement age for women is what, 65, men is what, 70 or something like that. But I'm just wondering if politics actually has retirement age. I don't know. Or you just go on, based on the fact that you feel young and strong. It doesn't matter if you're 100 or 200. I'm just asking. And don't get me wrong. Remember, I'm somebody who respects the elderly. I love, love, love the elderly. But my policy in life, Paul says, I've run the race. I've done my part. I've done the course. And he nurtured and he guided. He helped Timothy's mother and grandmother and auntie to guide Timothy. So he did succession planning. He actually put it into motion. And I'm sure he did the same with Silas and so on. So he didn't just live a life. He made sure that when he's gone, others will carry on the mantle, the baton. So, I don't know if now in this 21st century, this present day, 2023, moving into 2024, if something like that is being had and if there is a retirement age. To be honest with you, Minister Tufton, I wish that very same measuring stick would go over onto both the PNP and the GLP. The reason why I can't probably say so much for PNP, they barely have anyone. As I say, when you look in Parliament sometime and you look on one side and you look over their side, you shake your head, you barely can see anyone. Barely can see anyone. Even if you put on about 3 different glasses and use a telescope and a binoculars, you barely can see anyone. So, but it is a cause for concern for you, Minister, to say to us that the board had to be dissolved. We know the series of issues that we've been having for the few years, for the recent wave of years, in terms of no beds you might hear at some hospitals, no ventilation or ventilators in terms of that, no cancer machine, there's no burn unit. I mean, so many different, what do I say, anomalies that are not so good for the people as it regards the healthcare system. So in totality, it is indigent, poor. It is just not good, so maybe it just was just not improving, and they realized they were not doing due diligence. They were not doing what they are paid to do if they are paid. Some people say they're on boards and it's not a matter of being paid. It's just the prestige that comes with it. That could be one possibility, but we very much surprised to hear, saying, when you hear this, it makes you wonder. The only word that comes to my mind is corruption. I don't know, what infraction or misconduct could have been done, to cause all of this. But honestly speaking, I wish the very same measuring stick would go to both political parties, and some people tender their resignation immediately, but from the eldest to the youngest, or from the youngest to the eldest. On both ends of the spectrum, you might find more leaving from the greener pastures side. I call it the green side, because you have more people, in representational politics than the orange side, the tangerine side. So, I just, hearing all of these things at the closing of 2023 is a sad state of affair. Because if we don't change the trajectory of where things are going, the dawning of a new era will not bring on anything positive. Election is just a stone throw away. I'm talking local elections. The other one, maybe more than a stone throw away. Because, by right and by the laws of the land, the present governing party has until next year, 2025, September, thereabout, July, September, before they can actually call the general elections. The people of Jamaica are exhausted. We all need a vacation. I think every single Jamaican need a vacation, except the evils. Those that decide that they are going to make the lives of others a living nightmare. Except you should work and work, as part of your punishment, as part of your reprimand. But outside of people like those, the whole Jamaica needs a vacation. They need some monies in their pockets and vacation, I can only pray that the finance minister look into the whole compensation package and do something for the people this coming December. I thought he would have had some sort of a town hall meeting or something as it relates to maybe December 2021 to see what the public sector workers will be getting. I'm so sorry to be transitioning there, but we just want to know if you'll be doing something good for us, sir, this coming Christmas. But Let's see what happened with the healthcare sector. Guys, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this